Adam, welcome back to the Primal Texan Experiment podcast. Scenery's a little different. You've been on the podcast before. Welcome to the changes. I hope you like it. And Vara, how's your life experiment going so far?
Dude, it's been awesome. Thanks for actually having me back, to be honest. Like, when you asked me, I didn't know I was going to come back again, but dude, yeah, no, it's been awesome. The studio looks great. Everything you did with it. It's a big jump from last year.
It's a big help from Civil Studios, so big shout out to them.
Thanks, guys.
Getting this all set up. Looks great.
But yeah, I think a lot has probably changed in a year for everybody.
Well, let's start with you, man. Let's start with how it all began when you started chasing.
So since last time we talked, I moved out to San Diego in January or so to go work for the iFly over there. Yeah, just started working over there in January and everything was going good. You know, I was getting used to like living over there, and then February started rolling around and March started rolling around and the pandemic like hit, and I thought it was going to be like, you know, like give it like 2-3 weeks and it'll, you know, blow off. Like it's never been anything we've ever seen before. And it was just nuts. Like after a while of working at the tunnel, we had to go on furlough, which means basically like we still keep our benefits and we kind of just hang out until things mellow out, and it's kind of a struggle bus from there.
Tell us a little bit about that struggle.
So when that had happened, I didn't really plan for, you know, living in another state far from home with like no money, like nothing. And I had a house that I was living in with a couple of roommates, and they were able to hop on the unemployment thing, which I tried, but for some reason I couldn't get it back then because there was just so many people applying for it. The website kept like crashing, and it was just, I don't know. I was just like one of the very few that wasn't able to get on it, which I really wish I did. But I like had to go work at like the grocery store down the street called Ralph's. It's kind of like an H-E-B in California. But yeah, I was just standing there like sanitizing people's hands and like carts, and nothing I ever signed up for at all. Like I had planned to go to like California, live out my dream, you know, go skydiving and work at the tunnel, which is one of the nicest tunnels in the country. And here I was like wiping down carts and like doing a job that like it was miserable.
Hey, but sounds like you're making the best out of that situation.
I mean, I was there for a month. I tried finding something else to substitute, you know, that, which like I was telling you earlier is Postmates, which is like a food delivery service. And like at the like hype of like, or at the very top of like the pandemic, like people were staying home, so it was good money for me to go and like, you know, put on gloves and mask and go drop off the food and whatnot. Made really good money. So I was making like $700 a week more money than I was making at iFly, but just because I was staying from, you know, 7 a.m. all the way to like 10 p.m. just driving like a bunch. But that's how I was able to like survive like everything. So yeah.
But then after San Diego, what led you out of San Diego?
So with that, so I'm a trainer for iFly, which for those of y'all that don't know how like rankings go, and there's a rank system in the company where you start off as a level 1 instructor, and then you go all the way up to like level 4 instructor. And then there's trainers, which trainers are like the guys that teach instructors how to be instructors. Mm-hmm. So I'm trainer 3, which allows me to like teach level 1 instructors all the way up to level 3 instructors. So I had a skill set that would allow me to go and travel and, you know, help and train other guys around the country. So I had asked if I can go work at different tunnels and meet different teams and see how they run things, and kind of just like keep working instead of having to do Postmates all the time. So I would go to different tunnels and work there for about a month or so, and then move on to a different tunnel. I visited about like 7 or 8 tunnels just when, you know, just trying to make money really, and like train and trying to keep some sort of like normalcy.
Yeah.
So after that, my last assignment was in Atlanta, I was there for a couple weeks. I didn't really get to train as much as I wanted with the guys because it's just so busy over there. And it's actually really bizarre to me how some states are like, they're acting like there was not a pandemic at all. Like people were just not wearing masks or following any of the guidelines, and it just like blew my mind. Like,
which states?
I mean, definitely Florida doesn't pay attention to those guys that just don't care. And it blows my mind just because like I was living in California, which is pretty, conservative kind of everyone.
Don't you mean pretty liberal?
Oh, I mean like, yeah, I meant like cautious in that sense, not preserved. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like people were like, they care more about like, keeping people safe and whatnot, and kind of that gets into whole politics, which.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit later.
But basically, like in California, restaurants were closed, bars were closed, everything was pretty much closed, and they wanted people to stay at home. And it was really tough for people to make money, and like there's both two sides of seeing everything. Obviously, I don't want to like transmit any sort of like virus to anybody, but you got to survive somehow and make money. So I mean, I don't know, it's just rough times. But yeah, I guess like after Atlanta, I was there for 2 weeks, and then I decided I wanted to come home and kind of like recharge my batteries and see my family and kind of just like, I don't know, be here for a bit, kind of like recharge.
What would you say was some of the worst, or I wouldn't say worst. What would you say some of the most interesting scenes you've seen during 2020 pandemic?
Oh yeah,
since you got to see a large amount of the country during the time.
Yeah. I mean, it might be sounding like hypocritical because like whenever I go to these states, it seems like, some people were not really taking it seriously or didn't care. But then I was still also like traveling at a time where it was like kind of shunned upon, you know what I mean? So I feel like I don't know how to explain it, but like I feel like in some sort of setting, like I've had eyes on me, like kind of judging me, like, why are you moving? Why are you traveling? Why are you doing this and that? And everywhere I've ever gone, I was always wearing mask on the plane, gloves, sanitizing, doing, everything I needed to do just because, I didn't particularly want to spread, like I said, any coronavirus. So, but like it blew my mind, like seeing people that just flat out didn't want to wear a mask or want to do this or do that. And I mean, I'm all game for doing what you need to do if it means keeping your job. So like at iFly, when we were opening kind of back up in San Diego, we had like guidelines that we had to follow, like masks, gloves, sanitize, clean, keep everything super duper clean. But in terms of like the craziest things I've seen, it's just, I don't know. Like when I was in Atlanta, there's just so many people that just didn't want to like wear a mask like at all. And I'm like, this is nuts. Like bars were open till 2 and restaurants and everything was open. Like I don't think they ever closed. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of crazy to me. Because, I mean, I was living in California where everything, I haven't gone to a bar in, like, months.
Is it as locked down as they say it is on the news and everything? Cause,
lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, restaurants close.
So, the last I heard, like, bars were starting to reopen in San Diego, like, this coming week. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be anything like they used to be. Like, it actually reminds me, like, I actually had... did a trip out to New York, and driving in Manhattan is also like one of the craziest things to do. Like driving in New York's the worst drivers.
Why?
I don't know. It's just really, that's like pro level driving. If you can drive in like Brooklyn or Manhattan or anything in New York, it's just nuts. But when I was out there, all the restaurants were on the street. It was nuts. Like no one was allowed inside. So they put all the restaurants outside with like distancing and stuff like that, but it was just weird eating lunch in the middle of the street, like on a table with like flowers, and it was just really odd. So people got creative.
Gotta spend that money.
Yeah, but what about you? Like, what was it like when like all this like happened?
When all this happened, I mean, for me, it was just shut down my doors for my podcast, and then hard to find a job. Because once people once money stop flowing in most businesses, environmental concerns is one of their last issues. And now you kind of see that too with this whole ECOC mess with the electrical grid, and that all has to do with some sense of some of the work I used to do.
I completely forgot about that, and that just happened like a week ago.
How do you forget about that? Were you one of the few that had power the whole time?
No, dude, it was. I don't know why I flushed that memory out of my brain already, but
because it's horrible.
But it was like snowing like an amount of snow that I've never seen in San Antonio. Period. But like that was like a 4-day event, right? I think it was like 3-4 days.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to snow on the second day, and it snowed on the second day consecutive.
Oh, it was horrible. Like I had maybe just gotten back like 2-3 days, and one of my old buddies of mine, he was like, "Yo, like, are you down to like hang out for a bit?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because like I had no power and like my cell phone wasn't working. Nothing was working. The day that it was, I was like, "Yes, I'm down to just get out of the house and hanging with him at his place or whatever." And we were there chilling, catching up because I haven't seen him in like 7-8 months. Also since I was last year, so we were catching up, having some drinks, and I had called my parents and I was just like, "Hey, do y'all guys still have power?" And they're like, "No, we still don't have power." And I was like, "That sucks." I was like, "There's power over here." And as soon as I said there was no power over here, it was like, poof, like all the power went out at my friend's place. So we were in the dark, and he's like, "This sucks." Like it was horrible. But like we made like the best of it because like at that point, streets were super duper like slippery. So we stayed in. He put on like a flashlight headlamp or whatever, and he like just started playing music, and we ended up just getting super drunk that night with like no power and just music, and it was like the greatest thing ever. I don't know why. And then as soon as like the power went on at like 11 p.m. or so, we were like, all right. And we were like the happiest. We're like, hell yeah, like power's back on. This rocks. And then like there was like a moment where we're like, now what? Like, what do we do? And him being him, like he just turned the lights back off, and like we just went back to just partying without like pretending. Like we just wanted to keep it going. Like
how drunk were y'all?
Oh man, we were by the end of the night we were both pretty lit. So
wow,
we made the best of that one.
My main duties was just keeping that fire going, man. Keeping that heat. Poorly insulated apartment. It's just
I think that's one thing that I realize is that like whenever I do decide to buy a home, like having like a fireplace is like
insulation. Make sure you have a good insulation in that home, whatever you buy.
Just because like we were trying to stay warm. We had like 4 or 5 different layers on. It's nuts. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. So
it's a big difference between California and here on pandemic rules and I would say the environment's reaction to it, society's reaction to it.
Correct words, liberal out there, and
liberal, conservative. It's all mixed in on whatever topics you like.
Well, I think like Governor Newsom cares to a degree, like a lot, and he cares about like the people because I kept following him like on updates on this and that, and it seems like he genuinely does care. But like the economy is still like trying to like survive over there with businesses, and a lot of Californian businesses are all like small businesses. Like they're all like people own these places, and I can't even tell you how many restaurants I've seen that are all just like they're not like big, like they're not like McDonald's or like people don't really eat that stuff out there. Like if anything, there's a lot of Mexican restaurants people own, just tons of businesses, and I feel for those people because if like I were to start a business out there, like I feel like you pour your whole life savings into this and it just goes down. Like it's the worst. And then with like Texas, like, I mean, it seemed like stuff was closed for a bit, but I also follow a bunch of my friends and it seemed like places were still kind of open.
Party never stopped here sometimes.
Yeah. I just think like the bars never really closed, I guess. Or maybe they just opened.
They closed for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more relaxed with the rules, I guess, to keep business because Texas is a little bit more business oriented, and they are pro corporate.
It's Abbott, right?
Yeah, Governor Abbott.
Yeah, so I think he's more on businesses' sides instead of.
Well, Texas has always been more business prone. That's why we have 18-wheelers that go through the city day and night, but yet we can't stockpile our stores.
So I guess those are the two differences, but I think. Culture is definitely different. Like people from San Antonio don't act like people from like California. I think they're, because my friends in San Diego, they're very like chill, relaxed. Not that my friends here aren't, but it's just two different types of like vibes. I don't know how to really describe it. Like in California, like my friends are more in tune with like nature.
No rush.
Yeah. No rush, like nature, working out, like activities, like they almost never really talk about going to bars ever. It's always about like, we're going to go on this run. Do you want to go? I'm like, yeah, I'll go running. Or, hey, we're going to go surfing at this place. You want to join us? And then we're going to go skydive in the evening. Like it's all like action based, like hiking, surfing, skydiving. Like it's like the mecca for anything you want to do outside. And that's what I really like about my friends in San Diego is because like they're all down to go do like all this adventure shit that like if I were to ask like friends here in town like, hey, y'all guys want to go like hiking or like, you know, go for a run, like they'd be like not as inclined as opposed to like here it's kind of like where we're gonna go drink, like where we're gonna go, like I don't know, I don't want to say like that's negative or anything like that, but they're just two different vibes.
No, it's just like the cultural aspect of it. Like the culture more here is into the night scene, where California, San Diego, it's more in the outdoor scene.
It's awesome. Just like I have a buddy out there. His name's Charlie, and he's like the surf guru, kind of. Like he was teaching me how to like surf and stuff, and I was able to stand up a couple of waves. But like it's just awesome. Like, and especially like for like New Year's, the plan was like we were gonna get drinks all in like ice chests and spend New Year's on the beach at night. So that's what we did. Like we got to the beach around like 10:30, 11, hung out, started a bonfire, and we like started the new year with like a bonfire on the beach, like overlooking the stars. And
that was for 2020 or this 2021?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I was like, I've never brought in the year like hanging out on the beach, and there's like, I mean, everyone's like pretty spaced out on the beach, but like everyone was having their bonfires and just like chilling. It was super sick. Like, I don't know, compared to just, I don't know. Just, I mean, everybody probably got really fucked up like me.
So how do you bring a little bit of that to here? That outdoors life?
I mean, it's super weird, but like when I got back, like before I left, me and my roommate Luke, we were doing this thing where we would run a mile every morning, and it didn't really matter like what we did for the rest of the day as long as we did like, you know, that mile. And we were like trying to get into that habit of just being like, do that one goal for yourself every morning and like, you know, kick its ass. And as soon as I came back home, like I've just been every day I run my mile. So I mean, nice. Luke, if you're ever gonna watch this deep in, like I'm still running my mile. I'm pretty sure you're still doing it too. But like yeah, like doing a mile every day, try to stay active. I'm not really going out as much, but I'm trying to like, you know, save money and do all those things still.
I mean, what can you do? During this time,
there's a lot of stuff closed, but like I still have a lot of friends that are like, you know, super duper cautious about, you know, COVID and stuff, which totally understand. Personally, like I feel like, you know, as long as you get tested and you know you're good and you're taking all the precautions you need to, then, you know, I obviously want to see my friends. Like,
we are social creatures, and
you gotta like
just gotta follow the rules up pretty much.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like, I mean, I'll see them soon. Everyone had to like change everything pretty much what they were doing, whether it was, you know, running a business and then starting another business, or one of my best friends, Jason's trying to be a lawyer, so he's studying like a shit ton. So I haven't been able to see him as much as I like. But I don't know. In general, I've just been spending time with my family and kind of just recharging, kind of like thinking of like what the next move would be. You know what I mean?
What is the next move for you?
I'm still thinking about it. Well, it's not really such a move, but I have a trip planned to Hawaii next month for like 3 days or so, because they may be shutting down the drop zone over there in Hawaii for skydiving. And it's always been like one of my bucket list like drop zones to go and see before, you know, before I die.
Why are they closing it down?
I'm not entirely too sure. I think from what I've gathered, the DPS kind of owns that property or something like that. I'm not very knowledgeable, by the way, for anyone who's listening. Like, you would just go and have to go research it. I would have to go research it again myself. But they're trying to keep it open because there's jobs there and there's people's families are there, and there's a whole video on how they're trying to save Dillingham, which is the drop zone out there, the airport. So there's like a petition people were signing. I signed it myself to try to keep it open. So I think it's still going through another phase of trying to see if it's going to stay or not. But I mean, I want to go there before it maybe does. I don't want it to, but I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places to go skydive in Hawaii, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my next trip. And then after that, I mean, I'm trying to just kind of figure out exactly if, you know, San Diego is still the move, or there's lead positions open in other tunnels, which means you're like the lead instructor. Mm-hmm. You're in charge of like the crew, the team, which I thought about wanting to do. There's a position in Austin. I've been thinking about that. But it's all.
I hear Austin's the place to go, man. A lot of people are moving there.
I know.
A lot of big names.
Elon. Who else is going out there?
The one that everyone doesn't like now has a red tube as a podcast.
Oh, Joe Rogan. Yeah, Joe Rogan. I don't know. And I feel like as soon as he said that, like prices were going up. But my buddy's like a realtor out there, and he was saying like prices have been high for a while already. Like Austin's like hype town.
I will never understand real estate because I was blown away by real estate in Sydney, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just see the prices here. I'm like,
way more expensive?
I paid that price for an ocean view. It was a window ocean view, but it was an ocean view, not buildings of other buildings.
How long were you out there?
A year, a little over a year.
That's crazy. Where'd you, like, you got like an apartment and everything?
Maroubra, out in Maroubra. It's a little suburb southeast of the heart of Sydney. Loved it.
Wow.
Miss it.
How much was like rent out there?
It varied, but rent was like 500 to, I mean, it varied on what you wanted.
Yeah.
On rooms, but like a 1-bedroom room could cost you anywhere from 200 to 400 a week.
Wow.
But it's different over there. You get paid $19 an hour over there is the minimum wage.
What?
Yeah. And
that's nuts.
It's just a different kind of culture, different kind of society. It's just, I just see ways of running a city and state more effective.
Yeah.
Just the way their infrastructure was over there is just a lot better.
So I have a couple of friends that live over there currently, and they were saying like how the government pretty much took care of them the entire pandemic. Like they were getting like the government.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from a couple of my other friends that are Australian citizens. Like, I mean, they had pretty tough lockdowns. They couldn't travel within their country. They had to stay within their state, but there's only like 5 states, and they're bigger than Texas, all those 5 states.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I would love to go visit, but was the food different? Like, is it obviously?
It's better.
Really?
It's better. You have more diversity of food over there.
Do they have like Mexican food over there in Australia or no?
They do, but it's not that great. You want South American food, you want the Japanese food, you want Chinese food. So much better, so much fresher. Yeah,
that sounds
delicious.
Awesome. I can only just like imagine them trying to like make Mexican food in Australia, and like the tacos over there. Are just
imagine paying like $5 for like a mini taco, one mini taco
over there.
Yeah,
I thought you said it was cheaper.
Yeah, but no, the food is expensive though.
Oh, food's expensive.
Yeah,
but
food and drinks over there are like expensive.
That's nuts.
Living's also expensive over there.
But I mean, like gas and everything was like normal-ish or not really?
Normal-ish. I mean, you're paying by a liter instead of a gallon, but it's a little bit more expensive. But for the speed that you're going at and where you're traveling,
is it like one of those? Is steering wheel on the opposite side?
Oh yeah. It was awesome.
Was that weird?
No, I loved it. I actually preferred driving on that side. It's a lot better. Yeah, I loved it.
That sounds all strange to me. But like, did you see like all kinds of crazy animals and stuff over there, or like kangaroos and shit?
Kangaroos are like the deers, and then every once in a while on the long drives, see like wallabies.
I hear the spiders are insane over there. Like,
huge. Yeah, they're huge, but they're the ones that are like in the city. I forget what they're called, but they're harmless. They just like jump on you and.
No, there's no fucking way. I would
yeah, it's like this big, and they'll just like jump towards you, but they won't like bite you or anything.
Dude, there's no way I would. That's like terrifying to me.
I have so many videos of that.
Of them jumping on you?
Not jumping on me, but like they're just crawling around the house, and then they jump.
In your house?
Everybody's house.
Dude, fuck that. There's no
they're
way.
Everywhere.
There's no way I could deal with that. Like, with like, I think that would probably be like the thing for me. I'd be like,
It's
I
okay.
don't think I'm gonna move to
One less person that won't go to Australia. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I was telling you before we started that I was actually supposed to go there because iFly actually has cruise ships all around the world. There's a wind tunnel, and usually you go there to like train the guys as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to go there, and it just didn't pan out the way I wanted it to with getting the visas and this and that. So they were like, well, you don't need a visa to go to Europe. You just need a passport. You want to go do that? And I was like, sure. So I was already set in last May, to go to Europe and go to all these mini countries and stuff like that. And it turns out like both the Australian cruise and the European cruise are like the best ones you can, hop on. And I was ready to go, but like obviously with like everything going on, like cruise ships are like the last thing to like
death wish.
Yeah. So like I was like, damn it. I was like super excited, but I mean, there's talks about them like bringing cruise lines back probably like in the summer, but I feel like that's gonna be a really tough like.
Well, people live on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Most of the workers are from like different countries.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see where that goes.
Don't do it.
But Australia still seems like I definitely want to go visit there.
I'm crawling. I'm trying to work my way back to it.
Is it like your visa like expired or what?
No, it's just visas. It's just very difficult, very hard. I mean, I'm fortunate enough. I have a particular skill set that is in highly demand over there. I'm still getting job. It's so weird. I'm getting job offers from a different country.
Yeah.
Right now, to this day, telling me, can I come work for them?
Was it something like you did something with like oil or?
Well, I did.
Okay.
I'm a geologist by trade in school.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in the oil field for like a year, and then I went into regulating with the state of Texas, regulating the oil and gas industry, and then I got doing that for a couple years, and got tired of it. Got tired of having my hands tied behind my back and just saying these are the rules and regulations, and this is all I can do.
Yeah.
And that gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
So I had an opportunity to travel, and I took it.
Mm-hmm.
Got a job while traveling. Got a very good job.
Nice.
And I was able to work as an environmental advisor on the Sydney Light Rail project, which that was a great job. I got to walk the whole entire city for 6 months, walking 12 kilometers.
That's crazy.
Every day, just inspecting this track.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
It's crazy. So when did you move back?
Moved back in December of 2019. And then I got stuck here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I thought you were stuck over there during the pandemic.
I wish. I wish.
Right?
Should have.
It seems like everyone over there was just
Mistimed
chilling on the beach.
Kind of.
Rough.
So, back to you. What have you learned from the last time you were on the podcast when you were, I would say, a curious amateur about skydiving
Man.
Where you're at today?
I learned so much when I moved out there. It's crazy. When the last podcast we had, like I must have had maybe 100-ish skydives or so. Right now I'm at like 300-ish, like I'm about to get 400.
What does that mean?
400 jumps, like 400 skydives.
For people that don't even jump, that don't even do anything. What does the number of jumps matter? What does that matter to people?
I think it comes down to just experience. Like if I know people that have like 15,000 skydives, and those guys still say that they don't have enough skydives. So like me thinking a long time ago, thinking like, once you hit like 1,000, that's kind of like a respectable number or so, which I mean, it kind of is, that's 1,000 skydives is a lot. You're going to know some stuff about skydiving after 1,000. You're going to know something after 300, but I guess like when I moved over there, like I knew I wanted to go out there to seek knowledge and, get better at, skydiving and learning how to teach it and learning all the different techniques and things you can learn flying your body. When I got out there, I was able to, meet some super like rad dudes who are really good at flying. What was I going to say? The lead instructor out in San Diego, Jesse Jaber, actually, he's the one that brought me on to the team. And all those guys out there, like they're all in a pretty like tight group. So like learning from them, if you can, like I was like a sponge just trying to like learn everything and go anytime they're out there and like, you know, listen to what they have to say and stuff. So like whenever like one day I want to start leading more things, like I'll have all this knowledge like passed down to me and stuff like that. So I think in terms of like skydiving, like San Diego and Oceanside, like all those guys, there's such a high level of flying that you can't really get that kind of thing in like San Antonio-ish area, if that makes sense. Like there's a lot of guys that have like knowledge here, of course, too. I don't want to like knock anyone, obviously, but like it's just definitely like a hot spot, like in the country, like California and like Florida. They both like have like the biggest like skydiving scenes where, you know, you have like the best talent, the best of the best are out there. So like I was able to like take some of that knowledge, and I'm still like learning, obviously. Numbers, I mean, at this point I'm not really like keeping too much track of that. I'm just more focused on, you know, like what I'm doing on each jump and trying to get better and better and better. And if you think about it that way, then over time you're gonna be like, oh shit, like I'm already at this number, and I'll be like, oh cool, that's awesome, and then you keep moving on. You know, I'm never gonna be one to be like, well, I've got so many jumps. Like, no, it's not like that. It's more of like the things you get to learn. So yeah, like I was able to like seek knowledge out there from some of the best flyers and skydivers, and it's not just about, you know, flying your body. It's also learning how to like fly your canopy, because that's, you know, the most dangerous thing. That's how a lot of fatalities are. That's how they happen in skydiving. People either being reckless or, you know, pushing their limits maybe harder than they should be. Like you should kind of know like where your limits are and, you know, be cautious basically. So I'm still trying to get good at that, and a lot of stuff I got to learn.
So are you saying you're still trying to find your limits?
Oh, I mean, as of right now, like I know where my limits are, and I definitely try not to push them. Like I want to be able to like slowly, gradually get to where I want to be. And once you're there, then you decide to take, you know, raise that bar a little bit more and more. But as of where I'm right now, like in terms of like flying like small canopies and this and that, like I'm kind of staying away from that. I'm pretty happy on like whatever I'm flying right now and getting to the ground and doing it again. That's the goal. So being super safe out there. But yeah, I mean, you're always learning. That's where I'm at right now. Like I'm never going to stop learning something with skydiving. There's so much knowledge that goes into like being super good that, you know, you just got to keep going to the camps and going to, you know, all the pretty much it's like tunnel camps and skydiving camps. So I was able to go to a couple of skydiving camps in like different states and, you know, learn from some of the best people in the industry going to that. And, you know, I'm happy to just like toss my money, like teach me, you know what I mean? So that's probably what I plan to do for this year too, is to keep going to skydiving camps and events and leadership courses and get my ratings, which, you know, like once you have like a coach rating, you can start coaching people and, you know, just kind of work it into where you can make it like your own business. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been kind of doing lately. Just doing a lot of coaching in the tunnel, a little bit in the sky, but not a lot. So yeah, just that.
Oh, that sounds great, man.
It's a lot. I feel like I talk too much.
No,
I'm
it's
gonna let
good.
you take.
It's good.
I'm gonna let you take over.
No, this is all about you. It's not about me.
Yeah.
I'm just a lonely host, man. I'm
Yeah.
just a lonely host on here. No, but how would you, since we're talking all about the skydiving community, how would you describe it from one end of the nation to the other? The people, the community, the environment, the landings.
It's always different. Just like I was saying earlier with my friends from California, friends from Texas. It's the same thing for skydiving. Like you're gonna meet skydivers all around the country, and they're gonna all have like the way I see it is like every skydiver kind of acts the same, but a little bit different, which is kind of just like quirky and kind of funny and like just unique characters. It's kind of hard to describe. Like people that jump out of planes. If you ever talk to skydivers, some of the most carefree people like you'll talk to, and you'll have like some of the best conversations. So like everywhere I've gone, like every skydiver I've ever met, like super funny, humble, like charismatic people. I think that's why I tend to like really hang around a lot of skydivers. I just think it's awesome. Or it's like similar to like if you like talk to someone who's kind of like lives out of their van and travels for like, you know,
Well, it's hard not to stay away from people that are having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
You see people having a good time, and you're like, I want to have a good time.
Yeah, they just have
like
good energy.
Yeah, and you follow that, and you know what that energy spreads onto you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go down the other path, and you can share bad energy among other people, but that's your choice to do as well.
Definitely. In terms of like landings and stuff, like there's definitely like elevation differences and stuff. So like flying like your parachute in San Diego is not going to be the same as if you were to fly it in like Elsinore, which is a little bit more north, and the elevation's a lot higher. So it feels a lot different. So things are coming, you're like landing a lot faster, I guess. I don't know how to really explain it, but it just feels different.
The ground's coming at you at a higher elevation, pretty much?
No, I just think that it sounds super stupid saying this. So like a sea level like is in San Diego, obviously, and like landing there, that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm accustomed to. Like especially like skydiving in Texas. But like if you go a little bit more north, I think the elevation is higher by like 3,000 feet or 4,000 feet or so. I'm guesstimating. I don't know. But that means that your landings are a little bit higher too. So like when you're landing it feels like you're still kind of going faster, but maybe you're not. So it just changes.
Probably just a shortage in velocity where the wind is able to carry you down. Just shorter ground, shorter air for you to travel down.
So yeah, I mean,
you hit the ground a lot harder.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, yeah. So I guess that's kind of like the difference in terms of like landing areas and stuff. But I mean, for the most part, like anytime I can go out to go jump, like I'm all about it. So even when I just got back like 2 weeks ago. I already knocked out like 7 a couple of weeks ago. Like when I got back.
Going?
When are we going? Let's go.
Going?
I'm down. Have you ever gone?
No.
Never?
No.
Oh man.
I've been I wanted to do it one time in Australia, but I got a little sick and I had to back out.
Oh no, is it like your nerves?
No, I had a eardrum infection.
Oh yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
I had something similar like that, and I decided to keep jumping, and like somehow there was like an air like bubble in my ear for like, excuse me, it was like an ear bubble in my ear for like maybe 4 days where I can like kind of hear myself. It was the worst. And then they were like, yeah, you should have, like, glad you stopped, because if you kept going, like, you probably would have popped one of your eardrums or something. So that's good that you didn't go jump, probably.
Well, at the time, my lymph node was also making it hard for me to like swallow stuff.
Yeah,
it was bad. In Australia too, I was just like, oh, better just take it easy for a while. But that was a couple years ago. That was a long time.
Oh, well, then you're good now.
Yeah.
So
it's like
we'll
2017. 2017.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll go one of these days. Whenever you want. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's honestly life changing too. Like once you get down to the ground, you're gonna be like, holy shit! Like you feel like you can do anything.
But what if the parachute doesn't open, man?
You get 2. You have 2. You're fine.
Like, have you ever had to open up your second one?
No, I've never had any cutaways. Knocking on some wood.
Have you seen them?
I've seen one. Yeah, I've only seen one, and it was pretty gnarly. But my friend recovered from it and got down safely. And then like another buddy went to go find his parachute, because they're not cheap. I mean, I think his must have been like $3,000 or so.
Oh, none of that's cheap.
None of it's cheap. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was totally fine and everything. So like, if you say like maybe your first parachute, there's an issue with something, like maybe there's a line twist, or maybe it doesn't fully open, or whatever the case may be, you can cut that bad one away and then pull your reserve patch, and it'll deploy a second parachute to, land safely. And there's only one person who really packs that one parachute. It's a rigger, and you pack that parachute every 6 months. And if you don't, then the DZ won't let you jump, because there's like a tag. They're like, well, when's the last time your reserve was packed? And you have to like let them know it's been packed in like a proper time, so there's no accidents or anything like that. And a rigger is basically someone who's like super certified to like pack this one parachute in case anything else is bad. Skydivers are mainly responsible for the main parachute. Mm-hmm. So like I pack my own. So I pack my own parachute. All my friends pack their own parachute. So if something goes wrong, then
it's on you, pretty much.
It's on you. Well, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like a freak thing that might happen. Even if you're good at packing, it could be like maybe your body position was off, or maybe the winds were a little bit different, or just random
stuff.
stuff.
Me not want to jump down, man.
Oh no, dude! Like the parachutes that you'd be jumping on are like so massive that like you're good. Like they're big parachutes. So you're totally good.
I'm down. I'm still down.
Josh actually, one of our buddies, he's been wanting to go skydiving and maybe get his license, but I haven't talked to him in a hot second.
Oh, it's always good to rekindle the fire.
Be like, maybe reach out to him, see if he wants to go skydiving.
Exactly.
But yeah, total fun.
What's your destination? What's the next experiment? How would you like to move forward from here?
So I definitely want to try making skydiving and tunnel flying like my full-time job. I think that's going to always be my end goal, to where I'm working for myself. You know, I'd much rather work for myself and, you know, work at a place where, you know, I can't be in control of things. So like right now I'm trying to get like all my coach ratings and get my jump numbers up there by a lot, you know, just so, you know, it carries weight on whatever I'm trying to say, if that makes sense, like more experience. So I definitely want to get more experience in the sport. And then at one point just start holding skydiving events at one point, teaching whatever I know and bringing on, you know, fellow skydivers to come and help me teach these things. Same thing for the tunnel. They kind of go hand in hand. So teaching people in the tunnel and then taking them out to the sky and making a living doing that. So that's kind of like where my goal is, to keep pushing towards that. And I don't know how long that's going to take, but it's kind of like the journey, you know.
You're following your journey, man. You're doing golden on it.
Yeah.
Looks great.
It's kind of nerve-wracking just because, like, what was I going to say? It's one thing to, like, kind of quit your job and jump into the unknown of kind of, like, starting your own business. So, like, that's kind of, like, my hesitant part of, I think everybody's been there.
That's what I was trying to grasp a question on how to ask you earlier was, how does it feel now after you jumped into the deep end of skydiving?
Like I've taken it, like, you mean like, are you asking like what it's been like since I've taken it more seriously?
Yes.
Definitely more responsibility on my part whenever it comes to like teaching people stuff in the sky, you know, because it's a lot more dangerous than the tunnel is. So being very mindful and cautious, trying to keep everybody safe. And like I said, trying to get these ratings, which means I'm taking it more seriously, the skydiving sport more seriously. You know, going to like seminars and like things. They have like online events where you can seek knowledge on certain things. Mm-hmm. And some of those courses are like 4 hours long for 3 days. So I'm taking a lot more courses on, you know, safety and all that stuff that comes with that. So trying to be super safe about the whole thing.
So you feel like a great burden of responsibility has fallen on your lap?
I mean, I don't see it that way. I think like I'm stoked, you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to like show people like the beauty of like skydiving and stuff, and you know that comes with more responsibility. So yeah, you just got to like take it on, and I don't find it as a burden at all. I think it's
great.
I think it's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you can and you may not see it as a burden, but it is a burden. It's a chosen burden that you chose. It's that mountain that you're going to pick and climb.
Yeah.
That you're going to reach to the top of.
I like that wording. I think that's pretty spot on. Like I'm like on that incline right now, trying to get to where I want to be and get all these ratings and stuff, and try to somehow make a living off this to where, you know.
Well, speaking of a living, man, I want to end on your Instagram, man. I love your videos. I love everything you put together on your Instagram page.
Thanks.
And I want to share that. I want to make sure people see that and go to your Instagram.
Oh man,
so talk about the work you put into that.
Okay, so this is gonna sound super duper lazy, but I mean, for the most part, all those videos, and I rarely post as it is, but I should be posting more content like that. But like some of the things I've posted is either I've had friends, you know, tape me or tape. I've had friends like film me with their GoPro, and I'll film them with a GoPro, and I'll get all that footage and stuff. And I tried like editing some of my things, and I do edit some of my stuff, but for the most part, I've been my buddy Evan, who's very, very good at editing. I usually just send it to him, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, I've got, like, this idea like, this is what I want to see. This is kind of the vibe I'm going for. This is the music I definitely want to use. He's like a guru with like editing on Final Cut, and you've probably seen some of his stuff on the internet, maybe, but he edits for a lot of people. He edits for himself. His name's Evan Santangelo. If you ever want to like drop him a link or whatever, because he's kind of like the one to be responsible for all the super sick things he's edited for me. But he's a super good dude. Him and I jump sometimes. While I'm here, I'm gonna be jumping more with him. He's a skydiver as well. But I mean, yeah, editing's tough, man. Like, some stuff I do edit, but it's not as cool as what he can do. So, I mean, I try.
Keep it up. Keep it up, man.
I try.
Looks golden.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Adam. It's been fun.
Thanks for having me.
Love to have you back on down the road.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I would love to come back.
Y'all have a wonderful night.